Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hanley Riggs. I will be interviewing you guys today. So the first
So the
question
first
I want to
I
ask
want
you
to
guys is, what was your role volunteering?
I had a few roles volunteering. There were a few days where I was a wayfinding volunteer, and so the days leading up to the debate, I spent some time walking around campus and making sure the media knew exactly where they were going and making sure people that worked for the different campaigns knew where they were going. And then on the day of the debate, I worked security in the morning, making sure the right people that were supposed to be going into the debate hall were actually going into the debate hall and not sneaking in. And then, of course, at night, I ended up being an usher, was able to show people to their seats, help people find their way around the debate hall.
So my role is pretty similar to Georgia's. One day I did wayfinding, which was actually the first day of volunteering. So there wasn't anybody there. I mostly was telling people where the Belmont Mansion was, who were like trying to do tours, because it was very dead. The media wasn't there yet, but I still had fun. I had a map. I gave it to a few people. And then my next time volunteering, I was the usher, also with Georgia and Ryan. So I helped people find their seats. And then I also was able to sit in the audience when the debate started.
Very cool.
And I had two roles during the whole thing. One of them was I was President Donald Trump's stage double. And what all that entails is basically so that both candidates don't have to be on stage to rehearse through things. They choose basically what is called a stage double. And so I represented President Trump on stage, and we would go through with all of the television crews and the lighting crews and the sound crews and everything, and would make sure that everything was in place beforehand, right? And so we would go through and rehearse with our own set of, I guess, mock people, if you will. We had a, Biden stand-in as well, and a Welker stand-in for the debate. And then the nice thing and very interesting thing, though, was after about 2 days of that, on the debate day on Thursday, myself and the Biden stand-in, we actually did get to sit down with Kristen Welker, and we helped prepare her as well. And the first kind of hour of working with her was very, I guess, by the code, by the rule. We didn't break our 2 minutes. We didn't, interrupt each other in any way or something like that. And then Kristen said, okay, now we need you guys to just go nuts. I need you to get mad at me. I need you to break the rules and everything like that. And that was super fun. And so we went through, and I would, speak my 2 minutes, then, blow right past the time. And then I would interject when I wasn't supposed to be interjecting and stuff like that. And she said we did a great job, which was nice to have a small hand in preparing her as well there. Then later that evening on the debate night, I was also in the role of ushering with Sade and Georgia, but my role was a bit different from theirs. So I actually worked very briefly and at a very low and small level with the Secret Service on crowd management and everything, and making sure that people were where they needed to be. And so basically sometimes when I guess let's say you have a ticket for the outside seating, or basically up in the levels. We don't want you coming down to the floor where all the more important people are seated, such as the first family and Joe Biden and stuff like that. And so that was a fun task as well. And then I also had the opportunity after my task was completed to sit and watch the debate in person.
Awesome. That sounds really exciting for all of you. And then with being a student athlete, there are obviously a lot of obstacles on a normal week. So can you talk to me a little bit about how being a student athlete and like what that was like during such a hectic week on campus?
I definitely had to work a lot with my coaches. These debate roles, especially since we weren't able to have a lot of volunteers with COVID and such, they were long hours, they were long shifts. And so there'd be times where I would be working 6 hours a day, and I would either have to miss class or leave practice early, or have to miss practice altogether. And so it was a lot of planning. It was a lot of planning meals. It was a lot of just communication all across the board.
For me, I tried my best to not miss any practice, even though I know my coaches would have been understanding about it. I tried to schedule my volunteer hours more on the weekends, and they were very long hours. So that's why it was hard to find volunteer positions that would work with my schedule. So I didn't get to volunteer as much as I wanted to, honestly. I really wanted to be involved like every day of the debate, but I knew with track and school, I just couldn't do all that. So I tried to help out with the needs that seemed to be most important, like the roles that there was only like maybe nobody was volunteered or one person volunteered, and try to do as much as I could with that and balance between homework, going to practice and doing that, which I mean, it was hectic, but at least we knew it was coming. Like it was a week and we just had to push through it.
Yeah, and my schedule actually worked rather well, which was nice. I didn't have to miss anything on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I did skip both my training and lifting periods on Thursday though. And so that, I mean, my coach is very forgiving and he understood of the monumental task that, we were all doing, and, a debate on your university's campus, that just doesn't happen. So, they were very understanding.
Awesome. And then again, with being an athlete, you guys have all found yourselves in high pressure situations. And with the debate and even just volunteering, there are often times where you were faced with these high stress situations. So can you talk a little bit about how being an athlete helped you in any way for these types of situations during the week?
I think as an athlete, I mean, you know that as long as you're prepared, you just have to perform. You just have to go and represent yourself well and represent your university well. And I think we were definitely prepared for Thursday. Not just our team, but all the teams. Belmont University did an incredible job. The CPD did an incredible job of preparing for this moment. And so when it came time for it, I definitely think we were ready.
Absolutely.
But I did feel prepared for it. I felt like I knew what I was doing. And just with doing track, like you have to try to keep calm and collective and just keep your thoughts in mind and not go on like on a track that you don't want to be in, or like a mental mindset that you don't want to be in. So doing track definitely has helped me in a lot of facets of my life. And this was just one of them that it also did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and being athletes, we're used to being in the spotlight, right? And I'd be lying if I said I didn't like being in the spotlight. So it was really, really fun, and I wasn't nervous at all going into it. It's, as an athlete, you understand that there are certain tasks that you have to tackle and certain things you have to do to get the job done. And you have to be willing to do that. And so it just kind of was a very simple and easy transition to, I guess, going and working on the debate floor as you would, I guess, in a competition.
And then for those of you who are seniors, what is something that you learned throughout that week that you're hoping to take in to your life after Belmont?
I'm a senior, and I think just recognizing that how big of an honor it was to be in there. I don't think I really realized that, I'm one of like 120 people in this room out of the 100 million people watching around the world. So to just like embrace it and to like tell my kids about it someday and to use that story as a conversation starter. I mean, sure, there was some good networking opportunities there. Sure, it was an all around like really cool experience professionally. I mean, like, it was just like crazy cool. And I think that that's what I'm going to take with me going forward.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Sade.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'm not a senior, but I did have something to take away. So can I say it too?
Absolutely.
Okay. For me, it was more so like, it was very inspiring because every time I think of like these huge people, like the president or just anybody who I see that's big, it seems so impossible sometimes to ever be in that like position. But seeing them in person just reminded me that these are real people, and they might not have started out like I am, but I could also be there or do what they're doing. And it just reminded me that they're not robots. Like, these are real people. They worked for where they are, and I can do the same. So.
Right. I love that. And going off of that is basically an event like this where you have to work and, act a certain way in a high profile engagement setting. I'm definitely going to take that with me, right? If the next time I meet with the CEO or a board member or something like that, kind of the same story. And even if I happen to be working on the Hill, it transitions all over the place, right? And so I think it's a great opportunity to continue learning and continue the trajectory of being comfortable in those situations.
Awesome. And then my last question for you guys is, what are you hoping, like, what is next for you after this crazy week? What do you got next?
That seems to be the golden question, right? Like as seniors, like, what are you doing next? Like, good question. Maybe grad school. I'm applying for grad school right now. I would love to be back in DC. I lived there last summer and interned there for a while, so I would love to be back on the Hill. Who knows? But hopefully something really cool. And this debate made me excited for that.
Awesome.
For me, so right now I'm an occupational therapy major, but in my family, we have a lot of, on my dad's side, my grandfather was a famous newscaster back in Nigeria. So that's kind of like our legacy thing. And they've always wanted me to kind of pursue after that. And it's never been an interest of mine. But this year I've been taking a lot of speech classes and I've been doing a lot better than I thought I would do. And then after seeing this debate, it kind of just sparked that little piece in me that kind of made me wonder if this is something I would be interested in. So I think from here, I'm definitely going to keep developing my speech work because even if I don't end up going into that exact category, it still can help me a lot.
Absolutely.
So I think I'm just going to keep investigating that and using this opportunity to help me with next places I want to go.
Right. And yeah, moving forward, like Georgia said, what a good question, being a senior in all of it. But probably moving forward from this occasion, I mean, honestly, it seemed a little bit of a dream, it's kind of like a great dream that has now flown by. But moving forward is, basically take, the skills that I exhibited, like I said, and then just move forward with it. These kind of events, sure, we can say that they're once in a lifetime and there might be merit to that statement. But at the end of the day, we run into these situations all day, whether we like it or not. And it's important to understand that, and it's important to move forward and understand that every single, interaction we have with people, be it important people or not, however you basically claim people to be important or not, is basically another motive and another way for you to figure out how you're going to act in life and how you're going to move forward and how you're going to grow from each experience. So that's basically the mentality that I've had this year, especially being a senior, is making sure that I take every opportunity I can to grow.